Hi, good evening. Can you all hear me?
Good evening. Yes, we hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm here in New York City, currently fighting a water issue going on here in NYCHA developments. The last several years I've been dealing with police accountability, but for the last year or so I've been dealing with NYCHA issues since I just became the president of a development. And as you all know, I think everybody does, at least across this city, know that the developments here are deteriorating. They're trying to privatize people out of them, and people are living with no gas, no electricity, no heat and hot water in the wintertime. And just recently, arsenic was discovered in the water in one of the developments. And this was after people had complained of cloudy, discolored water as early as the end of July, and they were ignored. It wasn't until independent media who got wind of a lab test that was done, who questioned NYCHA concerning it, that they told the people that they had found arsenic. Okay, these people were left to drink and bathe and cook with arsenic in the water before NYCHA even informed them that it had been discovered. So they rushed out there, they brought cases and cases and pallets of water, told them, don't eat or drink or cook with it. We're doing further testing. They refused to meet with any of the tenants or any of the tenant leaders until like a week and a half later. And then when they finally did meet with those tenants, they pulled out a letter that's supposed to be a retraction from the lab that performed the test and said, guess what? There is no arsenic in the water. There never has been. And they're proceeding onward to close the case and expecting people to go on with life as usual. Meanwhile, other developments are still getting discolored water. They haven't been tested. The tenants in that particular development in JACOB RIIS have hired an attorney who started out with 40 complainants. Last I heard, it was up to 172 and growing, for a class action lawsuit based on the trauma alone of first being ignored from the initial complaints, then being told that there was arsenic in the water and not knowing, how it's affecting you and your children, and then being devastated by being told, oops, sorry, our bad, we made a mistake, we used a terrible lab testing company who in fact wasn't certified in the state of New York to begin with, and they made a mistake, and they admit that they made a mistake, and here's the letter concerning their retraction. It's a whole lot to digest, but that's what's taking place here in New York. For the last several days, I believe, beginning on Friday, they've started going door to door, issuing $200 checks to the residents as some form of mea culpa. I'm sorry, it's a terrible mistake. And some tenants, believe it or not, don't even want to take the money because they feel that it may jeopardize their case in the class action lawsuit, which it shouldn't, because $200 is nothing. And during the City Hall investigation concerning this incident, the attorney who has filed the lawsuit made it clear to the city that they need to get it straight with NYCHA that just because they're giving this $200, that in no shape, form, or fashion starts this lawsuit from proceeding forward.
Now, today, for the first time, I heard about a $200 payment being made to each of the residents, if I heard correctly. I'd like to get assurances from the New York City Housing Authority that that's going to prevent them from any legal remedies they have with regard to any action for damages.
So they can give it if they want to, but they fully intend to sue for damages. And nobody is talking about the fact that Legionella was also found in the water. They're not dealing with it. They're not addressing it. The only thing the mayor says is that, yes, Legionella was found in the water. It's present in the water, but you can't get Legionella disease by drinking the water, which in part is true. The part that he's not saying is that people don't get Legionella disease by drinking the water. You get it through the air when the bacteria is vaporized. So you can breathe it in through the vents in the bathroom or in the air like any other virus or bacteria, but they are not dealing with it. So there's a whole lot going on there in that development, and people are just left to wonder about theirs as far as those who live in the other surrounding areas.
They have violated the law. We have a lawless government. We're going to have to, folks, we have to think of strategies to stop it. Because it will never change until we do something about it. Thank you for coming on, and thank you, and I hope you will continue reporting so that we can understand what is happening.